I'm going to do a quick build of Klothys. Klothys, is that how it's pronounced? For Selection 2. And I've got all the cards already here that I think are going to be worth considering. So what does Klothys do? So he's on red-green, or it, or she. I guess it's a she. Just like the other Theros gods. Indestructible. This one, of course, does not fly. And it becomes a creature when your devotion to red and green is 7 or more. Then you can exile a land from your graveyard for mana. And otherwise, you gain 2 life, and this thing pings for 2 if the card that you exiled was not a land. All right. Now you're not on discard in a red-green deck, and so whatever lands in the graveyard is really going to be your creatures and your instants and your sorceries and your permanents and your artifacts. They're not going to be lands. I don't see how lands could end up in the graveyard using this deck. But again, that's because I guess maybe I should put in some green mulching, as I call it, to have something in the graveyard. I don't know. I'll think about that as we go through the cards. So first, I'll go through selections that I have here that are either red-green cards or they fit a theme. In this case, they fit this card. So whenever you cast a creature spell that has an adventure, draw a card. And so I put together a small selection of red-green cards with adventure. So I'll consider those. And then a bunch of elementals and Chandra to go with those elementals. All right. So the question would be, if I include, and of course, because the Grumgully here, it's for non-humans, it's going to help elementals. So it's one of those things where, should I, by putting this card in the deck, try to make sure that I have a low human count? I'm probably going to go for that. So I'm going to say yes to this card, of course. And then when it comes to elementals, let's see how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that's 14 out of my 40 are already elementals. Now, if I pick elementals and I don't clean out the cards and say, well, you know, you're an elemental, but you ain't that great of an elemental, then my elemental theme is not going to work as well. So it's one of those considerations, you know, what am I doing in this deck with cards that otherwise suck, except for them being elementals? And then the other 3 spells that go with elementals are, for red-green that is, this mask. When it enters the battlefield, you can create an elemental, attach this to it, and then you can sack the creature, and then it'll ping for 1. The equip is 2, which is not terrible. Oh, as an aside, last time I mentioned the lines that were in the camera, they must be in the software or they went away or something. I don't know, because the specific video where I talked about the lines did not have the lines. There you go. I guess the camera got angry at me and said, no, I don't have any lines. Anyways, so you can equip it to something else. So I would include it. And I'm going to say right now that with the cards that I have for elementals, I mean, let's look at them. Let's see if they're worth including in a deck just for fun. So this card lords elementals for +1, +0. It's others, not itself. And if you put 4 on it, you can make it big if you have more than one other elementals as well. This card is great in standard, but in commander you're not going to have that many 1-drops. Sometimes a whole commander deck would not have a single 1-drop, but I would include it. Why not? 5/5/4. It doesn't have terrible stats. Tap it, add red mana, and you can cast an elemental or a Chandra Planeswalker, and we do have one Chandra Planeswalker, a better version of this deck, which of course I may make later when I add a bunch of other cards from the current sets and the sets that have not yet been issued in Standard. Should have more Chandra Planeswalkers than this one, the one that I plan to put in. We're not on instants and sorceries in this deck, so it's got trample, but I don't know how often I'll be casting it. Well, I'm going to try to put some battle tricks, so we'll think about that. And then when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. I don't know. 6/7/7 vanilla, that's a nice card. It's got trample, and other elementals you control have trample. So elementals are not quite slivers, but it's nice that you can lord a few things even with the common ones. That's not bad. And then a mana dork at 2. That's okay. And then proliferate. So that's a question to have. Can we be on proliferate? Can we be on counters in this deck? Now, of course, we already have this dude over here on counters. So that's good to know. So I see a couple of things evolving that in my mind that I think I want to play with. Now, when enters the battlefield, creates 2 elementals. Yeah. And then a flyer, an elemental with flying. Of course, if we put in blue for the Omnath deck, which I hope to build at some point, I want to pull it, not buy it, but I may end up buying it. Then you can have more flyers. There's a bunch of elemental flyers in Standard right now. And then whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage, Chandra Spitfire gets +3/+0 till end of turn. That's nice. And this guy is great. Put a counter on another target elemental. Yeah, if it was an elemental, you know, another creature you control dies. Yeah, protects. Yeah, it's good. And then if you've got a bunch of green mana, you can turn a land into a 5/5 elemental. That's really nice. 6/5/5. It doesn't fly, but it can do that. Lovely card. Lovely. I love M20. So I'm going to call it yes. I want all these now, and I want the Chandra, the uncommon one. Elementals you control get +2/+0. That's very nice. I'll take it. And then this spell, Chandra's Triumph, deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. That's already okay in Standard. It's a 2/3 and it's an instant. But if you can control the Chandra planeswalker, it deals 5 instead. That's great. That's almost never going to happen in a commander deck with so many cards, so many more cards than a Standard deck. But I'll put it in. Why not? Why not? So we've got 2 non-creature spells already in the pile going in. And then before we even get started, we already have, let me see how many creatures we have already. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. So 17 already. And so the elementals are in. This is basically playing on that theme as much as it can. So 17. And I think out of these, only 2 are not elementals. So 15 elementals out of your 40. And I'm going to go for 40, maybe 41, 42. So it's okay. It could be a lot better. The Omnath deck actually has a lot. You can go for like all 40 being elementals, I think, once you add blue. But we're not doing that here. Okay, fine. And I had to hit the tripod. Now this theme is nice, but I'm not sure that I want to do it because it puts in a bunch of cards that actually are not that great. I mean, they're great and limited when you're playing in a pre-release. This guy was great in the pre-release. I'm sorry, not this guy, that guy. But if you look through these, what are the odds that I'm going to draw this guy? And what are the odds that I'm going to be able to play on this team when I only have a handful? I mean, even with elementals, there being 15, that's still not fantastic. So I'm going to say no to the theme and no to this guy. I'm just mentioning him here because maybe there is a deck with 3 colors that would go wild, but he's only going to be one of to help to do something. So I don't see the benefit. And so in that case, this guy would be out. This guy would also be out. This guy too, I'm not really going to be on food tokens at all. A nice mana dork with a mana thing, I would take it. And a counters dork, I would take it too. And this girl is great because it's got a staple naturalized to the card. And this dude is good also. I mean, you're going to have a lot of land, so it's going to get big, and it searches for land. So actually, look at that. So I ended up picking 4 out of the 7, but I still don't want to pull this guy in. He's just not in there enough. So I'm gonna take all of these. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to my 2-color creatures, and I'll probably do the rest of the creatures in another video. And so yeah, Riot. Later on, you can boost it for 3. It's got trample. Why not? Then a fight trick. Yeah, sure, I like it. Riot is fantastic, and I would go for the counters, of course, because then I can proliferate them. I'm not sure how much proliferate I'm going to be able to do. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But either way, yeah. You and Gruul Spellbreaker have hexproof when it's your turn. That's nice. Not sure about these cards. I like them to collect them, but not to play them. This is nice. That's nicer. That's okay. Yeah. And this is one of those exile in red and see if you can play it. Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play exile this way until the end of your next turn. And you may play an additional land this turn. I like it. I like all these. So now all of a sudden my creature count has gone up, and I've got 5 non-creatures. Okay. Alright. Oh, and I'm gonna put the non-creatures that I already had from here in the non-creature pile, so I can start building it up. Where's my Chandra? Where are you? Where'd Chandra go? Oh, I see. I'm having senior moments all the time. Okay, there we go. So these are the current non-creature spells. I think I'm going to stop right there, and then I already have some rejects. I think I'm going to stop right there, and then in the next video, I'm going to go through the other creatures.